Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Tip Tuesday. As always, I am your host, Kat Milner, the Clarity Architect of Simplify Your Brand and the Chief Tech Ninja of Simplify Your Tech. Now, can you believe that it's February already? As the date of this is recording, it's the 2nd of February, 2026. And I don't know about you, but I feel like January just went poof. And it's February. And already I feel like I'm behind this year. How about you? I would love to hear what you're feeling in the comments. Now, I don't want to be dramatic, but I don't know about you. I just have that slightly unsettled feeling. Like I've been busy, I've been doing things, I've been really getting into it. But the thing that I actually want more of, clients, income, consistency, can sometimes still feel a little bit unpredictable. That's usually the point where I would start pushing harder. And this is what I'm also seeing with my clients. They're feeling that things are not coming in the way I want them to. I really thought I'd have more clients by this point, and I just want the money coming in. So they post more. They talk about what they do more. They tweak their website or their landing pages or their funnel. And it's not because they're avoiding anything, really quite the opposite. They really want things to move. They want clients to start coming in more easily and consistently. They want to feel like their effort is really generating results, that it's turning into income. And that makes complete sense. I've done the same thing. I've been like, things are not happening the way that I want them to. Fortunately, now it's a little bit different than that, which is why we're having this conversation and why I'm so passionate about today's topic. So, anyway, my clients are like, I just need to do more. I must not be doing enough because my clients are not coming in the way I want them to. And that's a really easy assumption to make, that if things are not happening the way that I want them to in my business, I just must not be doing enough. So we add more visibility, more output, more explaining, we get more detailed. And sometimes it helps, sometimes we get lucky. But more often, it just makes things feel harder than it really should. There's a moment, I really see it a lot, and it usually happens pretty quietly. Someone will realize that they're not really that clear on how they talk about their work. They're not really sure exactly who their work is for. Or if someone asks them, so what actually changes when I work with you? They'll either get the deer in the headlights look and try and put together a summary of it, or they just go on ad nauseum until people just don't care anymore. They cannot articulate the transformation that they help their clients create clearly and easily. And instead of stopping there and focusing on that issue, they say, you know what, I'll come back to it later. When I have more clients, when I'm making more money, when things feel more stable. And honestly, I can understand that, because it's like, I really just need the money coming in so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Then I'll go back and I'll deal with all of these things that I need space and time to think about. And it feels practical. It even feels sensible. And honestly, there were times when I did this myself. So I understand where that's coming from. But what most people don't realize is that that's often the exact reason why attracting clients feels so much harder than it needs to be. Because if your foundations are not crystal clear, everything else you do is 1,000 times harder or more. Your marketing has to explain too much. Your content starts to feel clunky, or rather always felt clunky. Your conversations do not immediately make sense. Not because you don't know what you're doing, but it's because the person sitting across from you has to work harder to understand what it is you're actually saying and how to see themselves fit into what you do. Because if they can't see themselves fitting into and getting the kind of result you're talking about, they're never going to hire you. That's just the truth. It's I often describe this like trying to climb Mount Everest without preparation or a guide. You can be capable, you can be committed, you can be so willing to put in that effort. But the climb asks a lot more of you than it needs to if you're not ready for it. The thing that changes is that the climb doesn't get harder. It's the preparation that you put in before you start the climb. Once those foundations are in place, things don't suddenly become easy, but they are clearer. You don't have to explain as much. The right people see themselves in your work faster. Decisions happen without a lot of back and forth. Here's the part that catches people off guard. It's really hard to do this and to get that kind of clarity by yourself. When you're inside your business, you see all the nuances and possibilities. You see all the options, all the ways that you could describe what you do, all the kinds of people that you could help. And narrowing that down and really focusing it in often feels uncomfortable, like you're boxing yourself in or leaving something really important out. And instead, you keep it a bit broad, a bit flexible, a bit open. It's like, yes, I work with these people, but I can also apply to all of these people over here. And yes, we can do this, but we can also do all of these other things. And that feels safer until you realize you're also making it incredibly difficult for your ideal clients and the people you really want to work with to find you and say yes, because they just don't understand that you're for them. This kind of clarity does not arrive because you just sit down and think harder about it. It also doesn't come when you just plug stuff into ChatGPT. It comes with conversation, in being asked questions that you wouldn't ask yourself, in hearing yourself explain your work out loud and realizing what actually makes sense when you say it. Because one thing I've learned in writing classes is that it sounds one way in my head when I type it out, but if I actually read it aloud, like I'm in a writing group and we're sharing parts of what we've been working on, it's completely different when you verbalize. So saying things out loud is incredibly important to really see how easily you can say it. So I wrote a blog this week that goes into all of this much more deeply. It talks about the specific step in client attraction that people keep putting off and why that makes things harder over time. And even what shifts once they actually do it and they get clear on these foundations. So if you've been showing up, doing the things, and still feeling like your client attraction is taking a heck of a lot more effort than it should, I think this is going to resonate for you. The link to the blog is, as always, in the comments. And if while we've been having this chat, you've been thinking, I really don't want to keep guessing at this anymore. I want to get that level of clarity so I can actually start attracting the clients and making the money, I got great news for you. I'm running an event called Clarity Means Clients. It's a space where we take some time to slow down and really work through these foundational questions together. We're not adding more strategies. We're not giving you another list of things to do. We're making sure that your foundations are solid and crystal clear. So your client attraction has something really concrete to build from. And most of the time, attracting clients is not about doing more. It really isn't. It's about making it easier for the right people to recognize you when they come across your work. And if this feels aligned, the link to the event is in the comments. I look forward to seeing you next time.